Hi guys, it's Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's video is going to be part 2 or a companion video to my cooking video that I did a week or so ago. I don't remember, the days kind of blend in. But I did a video of 7 dinner ideas, 7 dinners that I ate throughout the week. And for this video, I wanted to share with you guys 3 recipes of 3 kind of like snacky, desserty foods that I make all the time. They're super fast, they're super cheap and inexpensive. Well, maybe one of them might be a little bit expensive because of the ingredients that you use, but they're super fast, they don't take much time, and they're delicious. And I do them all the time, and I do mean all the time. So without any more rambling, I'm just gonna show you guys the 3 recipes. I will try my hardest, and I'm sorry that I always say this and I never go through with it, but I will try my hardest to leave the description box, to leave the either a link to the recipe or the recipe written down, just because they're so good. The first one is my crusty sourdough bread. The second one are some banana muffins, and the third one are my protein bites. So without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. This first recipe is the bread. Very easy. You only need 4 ingredients: flour, salt, yeast, and warm water. And basically you just put everything in a bowl and you start mixing it. You don't need anything fancy, no machines or anything. I just mix everything with a fork and it's fine. I have learned that depending on the weather, you need more water than, sometimes you need more water than on other times. And in this occasion, I did need to add a little bit more water. It was just way too dry. And it still didn't, you know, it wasn't as sticky as I would have wanted it to be. Usually it looks really sticky. It looks like you might need more flour, but no, that's the consistency it should look like. But anyway, I just mixed it in and just let it be. At the end, I just covered it with a towel, let it rise overnight, and that's usually how I do it. So I want to show you how the bread looks after it's the next morning, after it's risen all night. And ta-da! This is what the bread is looking like. As you guys can see, I hope you guys can see, it's a little dry. It's supposed to look a little bit more gooey. And I did add extra water, if you remember from that clip of that video. So it'll turn out fine still, but yeah, it needed a little bit more water. Now I have the oven preheating at 450. And then while the oven is warming up, I will be letting this rise a little bit more. I'm going to put it up on the counter and let it rise that way. Okay, so I have my Dutch oven here in the oven. And it was in there while the oven was preheating. Now it already beeped that it's at 450, so I'm going to take this out so I can put the bread in there. The bread is in there. Make sure you are using oven mitts because this thing is really hot. So I'm going to put the lid over it. I have some parchment paper in there, and then just put it back in the oven for 30 minutes. The oven just beeped, and I'm gonna take it out, remove the lid. Look at that beautiful bread. Now I'm going to leave it in for another 15 minutes so the top can kind of toast a little bit. So just push it in, and another 15 minutes. 15 minutes passed, and look at that. You have to wait for it to cool down so you can cut it. I've tried cutting it as soon as I take it out, and it kind of just smooshes down. So yeah, definitely better if you cut it when it's dry. I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's out of this little pot. Now this is really hot, so I don't want to touch it, but I just pulled out the parchment paper from the Dutch oven. And that white stuff, that's just like the flour that was dried. Remember how I showed you guys and I told you that the dough looked a little bit dry, and that's why it looks white. But it's still it's edible. It doesn't change the taste of the bread or anything. But this is the best sourdoughy crusty bread that I've ever had. For today's baking, I wanted to make some banana bread muffins. And there's a recipe on Pinterest that I'll link below, and it's the Starbucks banana bread. And I've made it both into the loaf form and in the cupcake version of it. So that's what I'm going to do today. All you need is flour, sugar, vegetable oil. These bananas look really bad, but these were in the freezer. I left them out overnight, And so finally they're soft. 1 egg, some vanilla, baking soda, salt. You can use walnuts, but I don't have any. So I'm gonna add some chocolate chip, mini chocolate chip chips. And they taste really good. I just have these in my pantry, so I'm gonna add them and I'll show you guys how this works. The recipe for this banana bread I got from Pinterest. It's very easy. You basically just mix the dry ingredients first in one bowl, then you mix the wet ingredients in another bowl, and then you mix both ingredients together. I don't know why you're supposed to mix like the wet first and then the dry and separate and then mix them together. Like, I don't understand what difference it would make, but I mean, that's what the recipe said and that's what I did. And honestly, guys, this tastes so good. Just raw like this. I always end up like licking the spatula be clean because my goodness, it just tastes so good. Those bananas, I always buy bananas. I always like to have bananas in the house for smoothies, but sometimes I buy more than I can handle. So I always end up with a ton of bananas in my freezer. Let me know in the comments if you guys do that too. Just save the old bananas just for a rainy day. You know, you want something sweet. At least that's how I feel. I want something sweet, and I'll just make some banana bread. In this case, I ended up taking the muffins to work. Just because I'm trying to buy their affection with food. I'm just kidding. I've noticed that people here in my new job, they take food like almost every day. So I wanted to be part of the group, and I didn't want to like spend a lot of money buying donuts or buying breakfast burritos or whatever. So I decided I had all the ingredients in the house this day. And so I just decided to, make some banana muffins and then add the little chocolate chips. So once I have everything here mixed, usually I used to use a spoon to fill the cupcakes, but then I was like, why don't I use an ice cream scooper? It's very similar to like an actual cookie scooper. I don't have one. I don't think I need to buy one because this does the job fine, but pretty much just scoop them in there and that's it. For this last recipe, you need some chocolate protein powder, some old-fashioned oats, peanut butter, and some honey, and a splash of whatever milk you like. We're making protein bites. I thought I was halving this recipe, but the recipe actually, the full recipe is 3 cups of oats, and I used 2, so I went a little bit overboard. At this point, I've been making this so much that I just pretty much eyeball everything. Just based on the consistency and the taste, the flavor, I just do what I like. But I like to make these protein bites and have them ready so I can take them to work. It keeps me full. Sometimes, we're very busy and I like to have something quick to eat and also satisfying. So the fact that this has a lot of fiber and then protein and then the fat from the peanut butter, I feel like it's a pretty complete snack and it keeps me full for a really long time other than, trying to eat some cookies or whatever. But anyway, it's kind of a drier pasty formula, so you really have to work it really hard to make sure that everything gets mixed in there. The best thing about this recipe, guys, is that you don't have to cook anything. You just mix this up, you ball them up like little meatballs, and then you stick them in the fridge, and that's it. They are very soft when you bite into them. They're not hard or anything, and sometimes I double the recipe and I make protein bars instead of the little balls. But as you can see here, I made balls and they are pretty good. They look pretty small, but I'm telling you, 3 of these and I'm full for a few hours. So I love making these and having these available all the time. They taste really good, sweet. They don't taste like protein at all. They're just delicious. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching and I hope you guys enjoyed.